abundant world of adventure motorcycles, we find ourselves divided between Hondas and BMWs, Ducatis and KTMs, Kawasaki's or Suzuki's. For those of us with deep enough pockets, Ducati's Multistrada and BMW XR reign a distinct class of the road bias, high-performance, tarmac carving adventure machines. But if you're looking for something a little more exotic, something a little more exquisite, 99% blacktop focus with the lines of a goddess on two wheels, then this might be the bike you've been dreaming about. MV Agusta Turismo Veloce Lusso. Lusso, as in luxury.
3 inline cylinders, 800 cc's, 110 brake horsepower, 18 Newton meters of torque, 190 kilograms. These are just some of the arguments that won't simply let you ignore this bike. Could this be the ultimate road bias, sport touring, tarmac carving adventure machine? Well, let's ride it out.
First, you recognize the brand. Then, you turn on the key. You get the fancy panel startup show off, and you can't help yourself but to push the button. And then, you hear it roar. Before you know it, your hand finds its way onto the grip. Well, then you know exactly what that means.
And this engine is absolutely bonkers. Thank God we got two 320mm brakes in the front to stop us. It was almost a little bit too much. This thing is just blazingly fast. And the roaring of this engine is absolutely addictive.
This 798cc block is capable of achieving 230 kilometers an hour and takes a brief 3.2 seconds from 0 to 100. And all of that happens before you even get a chance to shift into second gear.
This gearbox does take a little getting used to. Doing 100 kilometers an hour in first gear, theoretically, I could be doing most of this road in first gear. The quick shifter works impressively well, but it's when you're downshifting and you hear the auto bullet function, that's when you really fall in love with it. But what I'm really digging about this system is that you still have a fully functional clutch to use whenever you want to. Wow, man, this bike is so impressive. The way it handles, the way it corners, the way it brakes, the way it shoots into the next corner. You feel so planted, like you're carving on rails. This is the kind of road that the Turismo Veloce isn't that keen on. The stiff suspension that is great going around corners becomes a little uncomfortable when you hit the graded pavement. I wish there was a setting in the suspension that would allow it to make it plusher, so you'd be more comfortable in situations like this.
Beautifully holstered in leather and bluntly inspired in sport bikes, the seat is filled with plush gel, providing a comfortable tuck-in feel, keeping you stuck in place no matter what your wrist might feel like doing.
The cockpit of this bike is a very nice place to live in. Everything has a solid construction, all the buttons feel great. I love the dashboard. The tank has a really cool shape. It's a shame that it's a little on the small side. Well, for guys like me, I'm 6'2". But still, I'm very well tucked in here. I feel comfortable, I feel secure. I feel that I can lunge forward, and I got a support here on my back. I can brake hard and I go against the tank in a really comfortable way too.
road ends, your trip continues. Surprisingly stable on dirt roads, even on road-biased tires, it can get to be quite fun at times. I don't know why MV Agusta doesn't make an off-road focused version of this bike.
And you may ask yourself, is this a real adventure bike? Well man, I usually say it's not in your bike, it's in your spirit. And if this isn't riding adventure, then maybe I don't know what it is. One thing that I find a little bit unfitting for an adventure bike is how limited the steer walk is. And actually the first few times I tried to turn around in a tight corner, I almost fell because I thought the steering would turn a little further. Wind protection is probably the worst thing on this bike. It's a shame because even the system of the windscreen is pretty close to brilliant. Look at this, you just operate it on the fly. It's got 3 positions, all the way down, halfway up, and all the way up. But it's just not enough.
I've heard people describe this dashboard as a mess, but I have to say that in just a few days I got accustomed to it, and I find it quite pleasant to use. Yeah, you have a lot of information on display, but once you know where everything sits, you have everything right at the command of your left thumb, and the operation is pretty damn intuitive, unlike most bikes that have more than half a dozen functions. And this allows you to safely change whatever you need, even while you're riding.
You know, the more I ride this bike, the more I dig it. I think this is the perfect solo weekend tourer. If you're gonna do something like Picos d'Europa, or carve the Pyrenees into France, or even go to Switzerland and do the Alps, this would be a pretty fun bike to do it with. Storage space is not abundant, but it's actually better than we would expect.
If you look at BMWs as Porsches and Ducatis as Ferraris, then it wouldn't be too far of a stretch to see MV Agusta and its outrageous lines as the Lamborghini of the motorcycle world.
Man, riding a bike like this is just gonna bring out the worst in you. How can you behave with a beast like this in your hands? It's just too much fun to resist. Wow, man, that's just something else.
I feel that I've spent the weekend with a very hot, outrageous young date. Exhilarating. Made me feel younger. Made me do things and go speeds I don't normally do. And if this sounds like something you're willing to pay the price for, then you should definitely check out the Turismo Veloce 800 Lusso. Until then, stay tuned, because I'll be coming back with another adventure pretty soon.